Let's dive into the subjects of today. Like Nina said, we know that our visitors are becoming more and more interested in our local Arctic culture. They want to do, they want to feel, they want to eat, they want to live as local when they visit us. And I think that by using the traditional knowledge and customs of the place, we can profile the local place as well, like Satu talked about in her welcome dinner speech yesterday. But how can we link the knowledge tourism to the local heritage? That is one of the subjects of today. And with that, it's time for our first keynote speaker. And this I'm very excited about myself, because I'm really impressed of Finland's strategy for cultural tourism. And I know that Marjo has been a vital part of many tourism strategies, both on national and local level here in Finland. Today, she will talk about culture as a part of tourism. Please welcome up on stage Marjo Ranta-Irwin from Bluebird Consulting.
Oh, thank you very much. Hey, yes, so I'm here to talk about culture as part of the tourism. And today I will be talking particularly about the cooperation between tourism and cultural operators. I will tell you about two different types of cultural tourists. Then very briefly look into the global trends of this area. And then in the end, show some case studies of how cultural elements and tourism can be combined. Just a couple of words about me. I started my international tourism career in the UK, in London. And then after moving to Finland, I worked for Visit Finland as a visitfinland.com editor-in-chief. And later I've been working for myself in cooperation with Visit Finland and other cultural tourism trainers and consultants. And I've been member of Culture Finland team since 2016. And here are a couple of logos of my lovely customers. I picked and chose those because I quite like the logos. So that. Right, so what is cultural tourism? Basically, it is created in networks. It is the partnership between tourism companies and cultural operators. In core of the product is provided by tourism, and some or all of the cultural content is provided by cultural operators, such as museums, art galleries, performing arts, historic sites, local artists, and artisans. By working together, cultural operators and tourism companies can create compelling experiences that attract visitors and celebrate the local culture. Well, what is the value of tourism to these cultural operators who are maybe not used to tourism? Well, it does bring them new audiences, opportunities to do something totally different, to test drive some of their new ideas. And with new audiences, obviously comes income. Tourism provides financial and other resources which can be important for the preservation of cultural heritage, supporting local cultural institutions and conservation projects. But what is the value to tourism operators then? Well, culture brings depth and authenticity to tourism by showcasing local stories, traditions, and customs. Visitors can immerse themselves in local way of life through traditional music, dance, crafts, or cuisine. Let me see. Oh, I can't do this. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, it does help to differentiate offerings from other areas and companies, and it does increase the length of the stay, which is always very important for tourism. And we were talking about that, the seasons here, the autumn season. So this is really a great way to increase the length of the stay. And we will get more income as well. And it does increase the spending and satisfaction of tourists. By satisfaction is always important nowadays because visitors tend to write reviews, and if they're satisfied, they write good reviews, and those will bring you more customers. There are two different types of cultural tourists. Most likely, people who don't know the industry would think about the hardcore cultural tourists. That's how we call them. These are very deeply interested in specific art forms, some artists, or some type of heritage. Good example is, for example, opera lovers. They are only interested in opera. They're not interested in anything else. They might go for a nice meal in the evening, but that's it. The main core and main reason for their visit is opera. In Lahti, in southern Finland, there's this annual Sibelius festival, which celebrates our national composer Jean Sibelius' music. And we Finns know that Sibelius was very inspired by nature and woods, trees and birds when he created his music. So these good people in Lahti Sibelius festival thought that, obviously our customers, our visitors, they would be interested in knowing where the inspiration comes from. So they created trips to woods. You could buy a trip to woods and they would explain how Sibelius' music relates to these and these natural elements. Do you know what? Nobody was interested in. They didn't sell anything. So they were not interested in side program. They were only interested in Sibelius music and a nice meal in the evening. The only side program which they are interested in is visit to Ainola, which is home of Jean and Aino Sibelius. It's in the Järvenpää, which is conveniently located near the airport, Helsinki Airport and Helsinki. But lucky for us, there's the other type of cultural tourist. It's the soft-core cultural tourist. Many of us here, I believe, are part of this group. We are interested in culture as among many other things we do, and when we travel, we engage in local activities quite spontaneously. We visit markets, we visit some local homes maybe, we learn about the local culture, and we are very interested in that, and we feel afterwards that we have learned something new. These soft-core cultural tourists are keen on experiences, lifestyle, authentic encounters, and natural or the cultural elements. And they want to learn something new and experience local life. This is very attractive to our target audience for all of us. So how does this network between tourism companies and culture works? Well, it does work obviously that the tourism companies provide the core of the product. They you provide accommodation, food, transportation, car hire, as was mentioned earlier, and other activity services, and then the cultural people provide the cultural content. In some places, where I've been developing cultural tourism, there have been cultural tourism producers, which kind of, their role lies in the intersection of tourism and culture, where they act as a mediator and producer. But to be honest, if it's all about, for example, local customs, local people, you don't need particular cultural tourism producer. Then a few words about the global trends, which you should take into account. And obviously, in global trend in cultural tourism is sustainability and responsibility, like it is in every tourism nowadays. That is a key priority. And in cultural tourism, obviously, we have to use the local products, which brings the fairness and authenticity to the products. and the stories which maintain and highlight the cultural heritage. I'm running in the afternoon the workshop about the storytelling, so I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. The other global trend is authenticity. Unique experience, like live like a local. Live like a local is that you actually step in the foot of the lifestyle of the local people. Local design, music, everyday moments, they are really, really in the center attention. I believe in this area, when you have visitors from abroad, this is not their first country to visit. They are quite experienced customers. And these quite experienced modern tourists, they value genuine local experience over artificial, old-fashioned tourist-orientated programs. And local engagement is very important for them. They are these kind of soft core cultural tourists. They want to visit local festivals and do other things like that. And the third global trend is meaningful experiences. And these are for high luxury market. They could be tailored services, tailored high-end luxury services, but it could well be all sorts of varied experiences, from very simple to very thrilling as well. And of course, the eco-friendly, sustainable approach as well, as I mentioned earlier. And then there's quite interesting part is the digital transformation. That's one of the global trends. We all talk about now artificial intelligence, but we are not quite sure how that's going to affect us. At least I don't know how that's going to affect us, because it's the early stages. But how quickly it has taken over what we are talking about in different areas of industry. AI will definitely be one of the trends. Just a little while ago, a few years ago, it was all about VR and AR, for example, in museums. VR headsets were used in museums to show maybe some areas where the customers couldn't go normally, and AR. For example, they created some sort of apps that you could have some more extra information. So that was digital transformation, and I know that nowadays there are few quite big projects, for example in Finland, talking about virtual museum experiences. How that's going to affect us, we don't know. So that was basically a little bit of like a theory type of thing, and now I'd like to tell you something, or show you some cases, some examples about this. First of all, I want to talk about the culture and nature concept, which is something that we have been talking about for quite a while in Finland. Then I give you an example of how tourism can preserve and develop cultural establishments, incorporating with them. And then there's one example of the continuous product development, and then in the end just a couple of little concepts which are popular worldwide. The first of all is culture and nature. I don't know if this has been talked about in Sweden or Norway, but definitely in Finland. And it basically means that the northern natural nature provides very unique backdrop for high-quality cultural experiences. And customers combine the natural resources with art and cultural content. Good example of this is the Chamber Music Festival in Kuhmo, which is Arctic Lakeland, a little bit south from Lapland. There, one day, customers can go and experience the chamber music in concerts, and the next day they go and watch bears in bear huts, watching bear huts. And then the following day, they might be in some other natural environment. That is, the Kuhmo Chamber Music Festival really uses that as an attraction for new customers, and some of the customers keep coming every year. Then Sodankylä Film Festival is a good example of how normally the film festivals are held in a very urban environment, but here in Lapland, in Sodankylä, it's surrounded by nature and magic midnight sun. Then Helsinki Biennale takes place every second year in Helsinki, and the first year they took the Biennale to archipelago of Helsinki, and they used Gallisari Island, and they dotted the visual arts and other types of arts there around the island. And they had visitors from abroad and domestic visitors, and everybody was very, very impressed. But then going to some sort of like a more normal tourism product, and here is an example from Rovaniemi. There's a cultural canoe trip around Rovaniemi provided by a company called Lapland. And this is all about showing the sights of Rovaniemi from the riverside. So while paddling with guide, these people who are paddling, they will see Rovaniemi and different tourist attractions, including Articum, which you can see there in the background. They also visit this Kotisaari Island, which used to be used to be a stronghold for lumberjacks, which strongly belongs to the Lappish history, the lumberjack culture. And then the canoe or paddling trip ends up in Heritage Museum of Rovaniemi, which is conveniently located on the riverside. This is at the moment for sale in Visit Rovaniemi website. This reminds me of my holiday in Dordogne in France, where I was very impressed with all sorts of Europeans, German, Belgians, Dutch, French. We were all paddling these rivers, down the rivers in Dordogne, and they were total beginners and those who were experienced, and everybody seemed to have good fun. So I believe that this type of experience, which they're already used to in other places they have been, would be quite attractive for them. Then there's the concept of which our festival at Lake Tuusula has tried. This is a concert where the artists are standing on a shoreline. In this picture they are actually standing in the water, and the audience is in the church boats. So this is very much taking the cultural experience into nature. If you are interested in experiencing this, I am happy to tell you that this will come back this year in July. There will be a concert like this at Lake Tuusula in our festival. And the interesting thing is that you can buy the tickets for the church boat, and you will board the church boat with total strangers, and you have to work together in order to get to the place where the artists are. That is not the easy task, but that's going to be good fun to see how it works. Then my example is, next example is about preserving and developing cultural establishments. This example comes from the sleepy village of Ruovesi in southern Finland. That's actually where I was born, so that's why I wanted to take this, because I have always loved this bookshop. I've been going there all my life. 2021, the current owner decided that he wants to sell the business because he wanted to become a local taxi driver. And this bookshop has very rich history. It was established in 1903 by the same family. This building is from 31 actually, but so it's been running for almost 100 years. So it was a very upsetting news for literature culture, even people who had never been to Vinha bookshop. But they were very lucky. They found the new owners. They came from top of the book publishing in Finland. They were the top guys, two guys who decided that they want to rescue this, and they did rescue it. They bought it in 22, and a year later, in April, it was opened, refurbished. There is a bookstore still there, but there is also art gallery, which was converted from the storage room. There's a very high quality cafe, an ice cream kiosk. Upper floor has turned into accommodation. In the summertime, visitors, tourists can go and stay there. In the wintertime, it's the artist-author residency, which brings the money year round. But the greatest thing is about the events. There are events all the time, every day. They are poetry readings, new book signings, and then there's this 3-day literally event and other events as well. And you wonder why I'm talking about this, but I thought it was quite impressive. They brought 50,000 people in one summer to this sleepy little village. And it was because they were working together with a bus company, which brought customers from Tampere for every event. Then they were advertising very cleverly, and they were working with everybody in the village and the outside of the village. And when I looked a bit deeper to this, I realized there is a type of tourism. It's a bookstore tourism. I didn't actually know about that. But there is a bookstore tourism, and for example, Visit Scotland has taken that into their things that they want to promote. These are a couple of articles in Visit Scotland website, 5 must-see Scottish bookshops, and 15 Scottish tour ideas for book lovers. I don't know how that would work here, but you know, you can use your imagination. What would be the thing that you could actually start promoting? Then briefly about award-winning from guest house to guest house. I believe all the Finns, at least Finnish tourism companies, have heard about this award-winning concept. It takes place in North Karelia, not the Korea, Karelia. And it actually basically is idea where the 4 different guest houses are connected, and people actually originally they skied from one guest house to another. They stayed 1 or 2 nights there, and they ate some really local food, experienced local culture, and the transfer is about 20-30 kilometers. And it was muscle power, the skiing. Muscle power continued. They thought that, well, you can't ski in the summer, so they can paddle. They can use the canoes. And then, of course, cycling is very popular. They created bicycle packages. And the core of these tours were always nature experiences, value locality and environment, and North Karelian food and culture. Those were the core things about this trip. And they still do that, and they sell worldwide these trips. You can also do this very simply. These are a couple of things that I picked up, which I know that are very popular abroad or everywhere I've been. I keep looking at all these sort of concepts they've used. Home cooking courses are super, super popular everywhere. I'm a bit surprised that I don't see that often here in Finland. I did see that there's an Arctic Sky company in Saariselkä that does do these. But for example, if you go to Portugal or Spain or for example England, you can easily come across these home cooking courses where you learn to cook the local food. I should think that it would be interesting for visitors here as well. Second thing is a local produce shop. I know that many of you do provide this, but I think that you could still really work a little bit more on that quite often. It has to be something that people want to take home, especially if it's connected with the local specialities. If I go to Italy, I always bring something with me and try to create it at home somehow. You know, some special pasta from some special town or something. This is the example from Pertti Manor in Mikkeli, which is an award-winning restaurant there in southern Finland, and they have a big variety of canned local food which can be taken away if you feel like it. And then thirdly, meetings and conference industry. There is a Hotel Gustavelund in Tuusula, and they have big white walls there inside, built in the 60s, brick-built building. And every month they have a local art exhibition by local artists. The local artists can sell the paintings, and the museum gets art on the walls and not empty walls or boring their own exhibitions. That's a very simple way of working with local cultural industry. Here is, in a nutshell, the things that I was talking about, it's all about authenticity, sustainable, authentic, meaningful encounters. I will be in the afternoon in the storytelling workshop. I'll see you there. But for so on, I thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.